So we're in my spare bedroom. I've got three. I've got six containers of water in here. Three we're going to call aquariums, and three we're just going to call containers with water in, and wet pets. This one was set up to put my cull Neo Caradina shrimp in, because I don't like killing stuff just because it's in the way. There was supposed to be just two types of plants in here, but being a child, age 57 going on 12 and a half, I've put all sorts in there and tried to make it look a little bit attractive. And yeah, the purpose it was set up for is not happening, but it's pretty enough, and it's unheated. I've got a heater in there, but it doesn't come on. I think it comes on if it goes below 68, I think. So we've got various plants in there. And then up here, I've got a little breeding tank for celestial danios. They've been in there for a couple of days, hoping that they'll do what they do. Another tank, I was supposed to have two types of plants in here. And yeah, being a child, I put all sorts in there, and some pretty rocks, and some moss, and some wassertan. Yeah, and we got some rather pretty floating plant actually. No, it's not duckweed. It's Rickii or something of that nature. There's this version, and then there's another version that's quite different. It looks like little clouds when it's all stuck together. So that's those two 2-footers. Over here, I've got my 4-footer. Let's go and have a bit closer look. I did have lots of blacks and carbon Neocaridina in here. I sold quite a lot of them recently, so waiting for them to build up again. There's what's in here? Oh yeah, another tank I set up just for plants, and as you can see, there's more than two types of plants in there. Oops, let's go backwards a little bit. What are these two naughty snails doing? My yellow apple snails. Some people call them golden, but they're yellow to me. Oh, I do have fish in here. I've got, I think there's 4 dwarf plex in here, mottled colours. I really don't like the yellow plex at all. Yuck. I don't know why people like those at all. There's another golden mystery snail. They're only little, so they shouldn't be getting amorous yet. Lots of different plants in here. I do like this tank. I do spend quite a lot of time in here because there are only a few shrimp left in here now. Let's see if I can find... There we go. There's some of them. Obviously, I've got to thin these not so pretty ones out. Oh look, we've got a red baby down there. Will he show up on the camera? No. It's under the twig. Down here. Anyway, there's another red one. Don't know why there's red ones in here. I've got Sulawesi trapdoor snails, rabbit snails, whatever you want to call them. They're fun actually. When they come out of their shell, they're extremely pretty. They're kind of yellow flesh, and they're all speckles with black. Rather pretty. Right then, so that's the 3 tanks in here. Here are my water vessels. Yeah, what can you say about these? Well, this tank here it's got funny glass. I don't think it was meant to be a fish tank, but it might have done. But it holds water, it doesn't leak. And in here we've got more Neocaridina culls. I've got a colony of blackworms starting. Can you see those little wiggly things? They're just slightly waving about in the... If I go right dead center of your screen, a little wiggly thing, you see it? I've got a colony of those starting off. I've also got Daphnia in here that seem to be doing quite well, and they go towards fattening up my Danios and my guppies. This is my blackworm tank. I have no idea why they call them blackworms when they're nothing like black. They're kind of fun, aren't they? I keep putting Daphnia in this tank, but there's something they don't like about the water in there. I even reduced this tank to about a third and filled it up with loads of water from my Daphnia tank, which we'll go and have a look at, and they still perished. I don't understand it, but there we are. At least the blackworm are very happy and doing well. So here's my Daphnia tank. I feed those guys with powdered spinach and fry food and a couple of other things. Again, I've got more cull caradina shrimp. There's one of them in the corner. And I've also got those little guys. See this little guy down here? It's like a pond, it's like a water louse, but lives in a pond. And you know, I can't remember what they're called. But the shrimp and those little critters help to keep the bottom of the tank clean. So as the Daphnia don't have a long lifespan, they die off quite quickly. That's good food for the shrimp and the little lousy things. What I've got, what's that, hair grass in there. I was hoping that that was going to proliferate. Proliferate is a big word for me. I was hoping it was going to grow really well, and then I could put clumps of it into my other tanks. So I could, I had a thing for Danios. I've still got a thing for Danios, but I don't want to keep fish. I like plants, that's what I like. And I like shrimp. So my shrimp are my unpaid gardeners. So my hopefully my plants look pretty. Let's have a look over the top of this one. So as you can see, there's quite a few shrimp in there. If it focus, come on, focus. Closer, closer. Yeah. And yeah, they're not colourful at all. Next video, I shall show you some of my colourful ones. But keep your aquariums nice and basic. The simpler you keep your aquariums, the more rewarding it's going to be, and you're going to have far less trouble with breakdowns, bacteria blooms and all sorts of stuff. I don't use any chemicals, I don't use any fertilizers, and there's no need to put carbon dioxide in your tanks either. I mean, if we were in a room and we increased the amount of carbon dioxide in the room we're trying to breathe in, we're not going to do very well. So I kind of think, oh, well, how's that good for the fish then? But that's just my opinion. And I read on blogs and posts on Facebook and other bits of social media about people having continuous problems with bacteria blooms. Oh, this is broken. How does this work? And and in my mind, it's all loads and loads of unnecessary equipment that are hyped up by the retailers because there's a far better return on selling things that'll break down than there are in selling a really simple under gravel filter. I mean, I think this tank proves how good an under gravel filter is. The water's like gin. There's not a lot of algae, and I don't bother cleaning the algae off here because I've got snails in here and I've got plenty of shrimp. The plants are doing really well, you know. So if that's not advert enough to say that under gravel filters work for plants, you know, well, you just can't argue, can you? You know. So And the other thing is, if your electricity supply goes off and your mechanical filter, whether it's a sump, well, a sump's probably a little bit more of a buffer than a canister or an internal filter or a hang-on filter, because of the volume of actual water is going to be contained in there. But think about the amount of concentrated bacteria in a tiny little pump. I'm going to mention a name, a fluval pump that would be recommended by a retailer in here. How big's the filter bit going to be? It's going to be tiny, not much more than a mug. But if you look at this, look at the substrate in this tank. That is my filter. How that is like, or maybe a bucket full, 3/4 of a bucket. Oh look, there's a plex, one of my plex. Yeah, very timid little things. I don't know why I bother with plex. You never see them, and they always charge off, creating a dust trail and a mess on behind them. Yeah, where was I? Yeah, filters. You just can't beat an under-gravel filter. They draw all the water from here through the gravel and pump out the top again, and it just circulates round and round and round. Now, if the electricity goes off, I don't have to worry for quite a few hours when I got an under-gravel filter, because of the nature of the filter. It's gentle. It's really gentle. If you've got a concentrated mass of what is beneficial bacteria in your mechanical filters, after about half an hour to 3/4 of an hour, that bacteria is going to turn into toxic stuff. As soon as the electricity goes back on your fish tank, all of that dirty filth and toxin is going to get spewed into your tank, and your fish and shrimp and snails, etc., aren't going to like it. You do not have that issue with an under-gravel filter at all. You've probably, well, I've had filters that have been off for a couple of days because I've switched the wrong plug on, switched the wrong plug off, and sensible thing to do. Oh, I forgot to do that. I do it, give it a quick gravel clean, fire the filter up, and away to go. No harm done at all. Marvelous stuff. There's nothing to break down. There's no impeller in there. There's no filter media to get clogged. There's no filter media to change. I don't have to take it out every week to clean all the gunge and yuck out of the filter. Why you'd want an ugly lump in your fish tank, I don't know. Because a couple of tubes, they're easy to mask. Very difficult to hide a great big lump of a fluval or similar type of filter, isn't it? And it's taking up swimming space for your fish tank as well. I can ramble on about that for hours. And your under-gravel filter will last you a lifetime, an absolute lifetime. Retailers don't sell them because there's no money in it. They'll sell you an under-gravel filter for your fish tank. You'll probably never have to buy another one, ever. The only thing you'd have to buy would be diaphragms for your air pump. So, oh look, they're saying good night to each other now. So maybe I'll have a clutch of eggs in a couple of days' time. Who knows? Right, there you go.